Good morning, Mets fans, and happy Friday. Welcome to Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and boy, I don't have a whole hell of a lot to say today, but I felt like I needed to record something prior to the start of the Mets weekend series in Philadelphia. Just read this morning that there are some reinforcements on the way to Philly to help the Mets and bail them out of their doldrums. I don't know that it's going to work, but it's worth talking about. And that's what we're going to do today. With the Mets heading into Philadelphia, they've made a couple of roster moves. One due to injury, the other due to paternity leave. With Hansel Robles' injury, I don't know that they've announced a move. I don't think they've said he's going on the disabled list, but fingers crossed. And I guess this finger is a good one to point up if we're going to cross a finger, right, for Hansel. Robles is probably going to be put on the disabled list, and the Mets are going to be calling up Buddy Bauman, or Bauman, however you pronounce his name, from AAA. Left-handed reliever. He will take Robles' spot, it seems. And also over the weekend, or very soon, Bauman/Bauman will find himself the only left-hander in the bullpen because Jerry Blevins will be on paternity leave sometime soon. And so that's probably the reason that Bauman is up here now, or Bauman, whatever. I don't know anything about him other than that he had a cup of coffee with the Padres. But he looks like he has decent numbers in Vegas. See what he does in New York or in the majors. Speaking of paternity, we all know that Jay Bruce is on the paternity list. He will also be missing this weekend's series. Taking his roster spot will be Dominic Smith, interestingly. We will see Dom Smith in Philly, where my brother and I last year, when Dom was called up, went to see him, see his first game in the majors. He had a decent showing. See if he can do it again tonight in Philly. It looks like he will have some chances to play because there are no lefties in the Phillies pitching staff at all, which I found to be amazing. I didn't realize they didn't have a single left-hander on the staff, but they don't. So maybe that's good for Dom. Todd Frazier will be missing this series. He is, of course, on the disabled list. So offensively, the Mets are going to need to get contributions from the usual suspects if they intend to compete in this series with the second place Phillies. Yes, the Phillies are in second place right now. The Braves are in first place in the division. The Nationals are in third. The Mets find themselves in fourth, just one game over 500. But back to this Phillies series. The Mets have pitching on their side, I think. Both Syndergaard and DeGrom pitch on Saturday and Sunday. Mats goes tonight against Jake Arrieta. Whatever. I never know how to feel going into a Steven Matz start. I always sort of feel like on the fence about it. Like, it could be great, it could be shit. I just feel like the Mets are due for something positive to happen because it's been so much negativity over the last 2 to 3 weeks, whether it be the losing, whether it be Matt Harvey. I want to sort of talk about Matt Harvey. I know the other day I said I probably wasn't going to talk about him again, but I do want to chat briefly about that. But first, I just want to wrap up this chat about the Phillies this weekend. So I don't get to watch the Mets-Phillies games because I'm in the Philadelphia market, and they get blacked out on MLB TV. And so I don't get to watch, and I usually get bothered by that. I usually hate not being able to watch, but a part of me is almost like looking forward to not having to watch the game tonight. I hate feeling that way, but it is what it is. So I'm planning on listening to the game, listening to Howie and Josh, and I already told my kids that we're going to sit outside tonight and have a fire and have the game playing, and hopefully I don't have to turn the game off after 2 innings, but we'll see. So that's it for that. And now I want to talk about Matt Harvey. So the Matt Harvey situation was really came to a head this year. We all know that. I've talked about it ad nauseum. But what I want to draw a parallel to is 1986. In 1986, the Mets had, at the time, a superstar outfielder who had fallen out of his prime, but previously was one of the elite sluggers in all of baseball, and that was George Foster. For those of you that remember, George Foster was a former Cincinnati Red, major power threat, was on the Mets teams leading up to 1986, and started the 1986 season with the Mets. He was released not long. The Mets moved on from him not long after the season started, and I don't want to say that turned the season around, but if you remember, the 86 Mets didn't get off to the hot start that they were hoping to. Now it's different with this 2018 team because the start they got off to was otherworldly, but I'm just wondering if you can draw a parallel between what the 86 Mets did to move on from a player who was no longer able to contribute on the major league level, and how the team reacted after that happened. Again, I don't know that there's a direct corollary to those two things. I don't know that that's actually the way it went down in 86. But I'm feeling, and the reason I'm mentioning it is I'm feeling like there's a chance that Matt Harvey leaving lifts this dark cloud of will he, won't he, what's going to happen with him, what did he do now? It kind of lifts that stigma from the team. And I don't know, maybe they're able to loosen up a little bit after this is all said and done, and Harvey's gone and they don't have to address questions about him anymore. Maybe this is a good thing for the team, and maybe they're able to turn the season around and look at this past weekend and the events of the last 2 weeks and sort of say, this is why we came together. This was the turning point of our season. I don't know. I'm ever the optimist, so I'm looking at that and saying, yeah, that sounds good. Let's go with that. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely out in left field. I have no idea. All I know is that something needs to change with the Mets team right now, and maybe Matt Harvey leaving. Saying nothing about Devin Mesoraco joining the team. I'm not saying he's going to inject this air of positivity, because that poor bastard's been hurt more than Travis d'Arnaud. But just maybe addition by subtraction, and not necessarily on the performance side, but on the attitude side, on the stigma side, on the general consensus feeling of the team side. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Do you think Matt Harvey not being on the team, hard though it may be to look at him in a Cincinnati Reds uniform, and I confess I had a hard time seeing the picture, and I had an even harder time watching the interview that he gave in Reds gear. It just felt weird to see that. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. How are you reacting to it? Are you taking it better than I am? Let me know in the comments section below, or if you want to hit me up on Twitter at Mr_Met. I appreciate your watching the video. Thank you very much. Good luck to the Mets this weekend. I'll be back on Monday to talk about the series that I will not be watching. To all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. And as always, let's